इलेक्ट्रिकल व्हीकल का करा है, बट वो मैंने अभी सर्कुलेशन में डाला
नहीं लॉन्च किया स्पेशलाइजेशन लॉन्च किया है या इंडिपेंडेंट क्या उन्होंने क्या लॉन्च किया इसलिए
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Very good morning, sir.
Very good morning. Very good morning. अमोल जी कौन बोल रहा है?
Sir, Shubham this side from ISIEINDIA, sir.
शुभम.
Yes, yes, yes.
Ravi ji, good morning.
So how did you know?
Vinod sir is good, sir.
Right, he was my student. I think you are aware.
Yes, yes. Also, we were joining
good morning.
University before.
हाँ अरे हाँ यार तुम्हारी तरफ तुम लोगों ने जो इलेक्ट्रिकल व्हीकल बनाया था काबला जी के टाइम पर.
Yes, sir.
हाँ I know. So who else are we here? Hello friends, congrats sir and hello.
Dr. Abhay, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
क्या हाल है?
एकदम बढ़िया. आप कैसे हैं? Hello. Are you able to hear me?
Like peer visit from
Excuse me?
Yeah, you are loud and clear.
Hello.
Good morning, this is Rahul Gadle.
I think Professor Howard has sent a mail saying that link is not working. Then please talk to him, tell him to download the Wi-Fi. So actually the link was not working on the laptop, so I have clicked it from the mobile itself.
Okay, okay, we will check, sir. Actually, only one member left, Dr. Sri Hari. Everyone has joined.
Okay, you are joined now.
Hello.
Yeah, Shubham, I think you can start it.
Yes, sir, we are starting, so we are live now. A very good morning to one and all present here. I, Anmol Mundra, would like to welcome our distinguished speakers, delegates, academicians, and students and professionals. Thank you all for joining us here for the Vision Quest episode number 3, titled Skills versus Opportunities. This is co-organized by ASDC, that is Automated Skills Development Council, and powered by Plugin. Now, we all know that the world is rapidly shifting towards e-mobility, that is electric mobility. There is a need to create sustainable development of skills of students, academicians, and industry professionals to match this EV industry demand and fulfill its requirements. Now, Vision Quest is an initiative by us, that is ISIEINDIA, to make awareness, create sustainable skill development, and make a way forward for electric mobility. We guest on sectors and councils, stakeholders from automobile industries, academia, and research, CEOs, MDs, vice chancellors, pro chancellors, industry experts, researchers. Leaders will be invited for the panel discussion on various topics which are related to electric mobility. Again, to encourage and foster the learning, inspiration, productive result of engineers and entrepreneurs towards e-mobility. Every year, 20 episodes will be conducted, which will again focus electric mobility, emerging technologies, market studies, adoption of these into the market and its significance, government policies and initiatives, challenges and opportunities in creating an EV ecosystem, etc. So today, in episode 3 of Vision Quest, that is Skill versus Opportunities, our esteemed guests will exchange their thoughts and will discuss about skill requirements and opportunities available in the automobile industry. We will also be focusing to identify and implement the outcomes through discussion in the ecosystem. Now, I would like to give a short little brief introduction about what ISIEINDIA is on. We are Asia's e-mobility motorsports and skill-based education platform with 9 years of experience in e-mobility events and skill-based education system. We are creating immersive learning experiences for all our learners globally. We are a National Youth Award winner by Ministry of Youth Affairs, recommended by Ministry of New and Renewable Energy and endorsed by Niti Aayog, Government of India, and we are associated with 20 plus automotive industries. Favorable initiatives. ISI India is also a leading organization for specialization in EV engineering, through which industry and academia. We are creating a unique basic innovation ecosystem centered on clean mobility and renewable energy. We are very proud to announce that ISI India has partnered with Additional Skill Acquisition Program, that is ASAP, the Higher Education Department of Kerala Government for 2CO in Kerala, CSMNS Aurangabad, SSGM Shillong, National Institute for Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, that is NIMSM, Kovatar, Eco Village by ISKCON. I request all the attendees to please turn off their mic to avoid any kind of chaos and confusion. We are also having 20 plus Center of Excellence will go into the operation by June 2020. The Center of Excellence in association with MG Motor India and ANSYS, supported by the Society of Manufacturers of EV, that is SME, and certification partner Automotive Skills Development Council, ASDC. The Center of Excellence aims to create an ecosystem for skill development education programs. The research, innovation, and entrepreneurship with skilling, reskilling, and upskilling needs of India. Thus, to establish a strong association of spaces for research and innovation to exchange knowledge, ideas, solutions to industry and academy. Imperial Society of Innovative Engineers is aiming to establish a 100 plus Center of Excellence for Green Mobility by 2025 across India. Now, we would like to present a video showing various initiatives taken by the Imperial Society of Innovative Engineers to promote green mobility and sustainable energy. I request my team to please share the video.
The automobile industry is moving at a rapid pace, trying to gain an upper hand in the electric vehicle market. There is a lot to be done and the time is short. This has also affected the recruitment process. Thus, right now the industry is looking for individuals with the right skill set to fulfill the job roles and help them succeed. To grab this opportunity, the engineering graduates should be trained as per the industry requirement. Indian Society of Innovative Engineers (ISIEINDIA), being the first organization in India working to encourage green mobility, teaming up with a vast network of experts, has come up with a Center of Excellence for E-Mobility Research and Skill Development, which would act as a epicenter for innovation, incubation, and skill development, and also research in the field of e-mobility. ISI India has 9 years of excellence in training graduates and professionals, and we have been awarded as National Youth Award in 2015-16, Earth Day Network Star Award and Titans of Technology 2021, and many such awards for creating a uniquely based tech innovation ecosystem centering around e-mobility. The Center of Excellence is a unique facility with machines, workbench, experimental setup, and research setup exclusively designed and developed by ISI India. It consists of 3 labs: EV/HEV Powertrain Research Lab, Battery Prototyping and Testing Lab, Charging Infrastructure Lab. EV/HEV Powertrain is the heart of the vehicle and responsible to deliver the power to the wheels. This lab consists of equipment and setup to help the students and faculties gain better grasp over the motor technology, hybrid vehicle and fuel cell technology. They will be able to design, prototype, test and optimize the powertrain setup. Battery for an electric vehicle is one of the most crucial and expensive components. The participant in this lab will be able to perform various mechanical and electrical tests for the battery or cell, along with the battery pack design and cell sorting. Study about the BMS functionality and design and create a safety circuit for balanced charge and discharge characteristics. Charging infrastructure. As we know, charging being the most major concern in electric vehicles, this lab consists of DC and AC chargers with integrated circuits for V2G charging. This state-of-the-art facility consists of overall charging infrastructure model for 2-wheelers and 4-wheelers. Under this Center of Excellence, we will be offering collaborative BTech and Tech PG diploma with specialization in electric vehicle engineering in association with top universities of India. Certification program with our industrial partners, MG Motors, Hero Electric and many others, and QP and non-QP certification program with Automotive Skill Development Council, ASDC. In our initiative to train future engineers, we have certification partner Automobile Skill Development Council, ASDC, Industrial Partner for Skill Development, MG Dakshuta, Career Opportunities Partner, Society of Manufacturers of Electric Vehicle Assembly, Technology Partner for Research and Development, NCS and Hero Electric, and many more. By 2025, ISI India, with their industry partner and universities, will be establishing 100 plus centers pan-India and train more than 5 lakh students. Come and join our hands towards a green future ahead.
Thank you so much for sharing the screen. Now, moving forward, I would like to welcome today's moderator of the program, that is Professor Dr. Ashwini Kumar Sharma. Dr. Ashwini Kumar Sharma is advisor to ISI India, mentor for Change Niti Aayog, Government of India. He is a former dean at Amaz University, a dynamic teacher, professional mentor and coach with a rich experience of 20 years in the engineering education. Professor Sharma is a doctorate from National Institute of Technology, Kurukshetra. He is certified from CMI Level 5X in Management and Leadership from Chartered Management Institute, UK. He pioneered introducing the project-based learning for the students of engineering and faculty and developed innovative teaching and learning aids. His expertise includes project consultancies, patents, project-based learning, innovation, and e-learning. Now, without wasting much time, I would like to request Dr. Ashwini to please take this event further and moderate. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I hope I am audible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fine. So, good morning to one and all our gathering. Eminent people who are present over here, I welcome you all on behalf of ISI India. I am Dr. Ashwini Sharma. So today I am going to host this event for you, and the format of the event would be somewhat like this, that I will be introducing the speaker first, and then there will be 2 to 3 minutes what we can say, word of wisdom from your side, and after that another speaker will be introduced. So every time the speaker will be getting 2 to 3 minutes to speak on skills versus opportunity, and then after that we will move forward with the panel discussion where there will be interaction on number of issues which are related to the engineering education skills and opportunities. So I hope I am understood, and starting forward with the first speaker, I would like to introduce Dr. Sri Hari Prakash Gondwar. He is President and Vice Chancellor at Sir Padampa Singhania University, Udaipur. He is FIEE, MIICHE, Energy Institute, UK, C Engineering, C Energy, Chartered Energy Engineer, Fellow Institution of Engineers, India, having more than 30 years of experience in education and administration. He has served at various administrative positions. He has developed laboratories and experiments. As member of Board of Studies and Chairman Board of Studies, he was associated with curriculum development and examination system in the University of Mumbai. He is member of organizing committee of 3 national conferences and has affiliation to many professional bodies. Welcome, Dr. Sri Hari. Your time for your word of wisdom.
Thank you. At the outset, let me thank ISIE for giving me this opportunity. I'm very happy to be speaking first because then I can skip a lot of things which are not in my wisdom, and others who are wiser than me can really fill in. 2 or 3 things that come to my mind is regarding skills versus opportunities. Yeah, I see that especially with reference to the transport vehicles. I believe that's our focus today. when I drive around down the road, I see a whole lot of mechanics, auto repairers, and those series of shops which cater to automotive industry, including the petrol pumps and compressed air people, those who mend our tires and so on and so forth. Suddenly I realized EV is going to be a disruptive technology. The skills we have today, or we developed, or we built in an expertise into transferring those skills at various levels, including at higher education, where we had the automotive engineers and the aerospace engineers who did study the IC engine, which I have a feeling is going to follow the same fate as the steam engine did way back last century. But I see at the same time several new models of petrol and diesel vehicles are coming out. This is probably a last ditch effort by the automotive industry to, before it dies, let's do the innovation and let's make the last minute profit, whatever is possible. At the same time, I also see that if the new technology has to come, there are so many stumbling blocks. We still don't understand how the batteries work. We do not have the repair and maintenance workforce for automotive EV vehicles. We do not have that high-end supply of batteries. The first thing that's going to happen is we need the petrol pumps stacking up ready to replace batteries of every kind, depending on what kind of vehicle you bring in, and they will take away your old battery and give you a new one, and some mechanism of payment facility. And there will also be a grey market wherein people will try to give you methodologies for recharging your old batteries and so on and so forth, like what happened with the cartridges for printers, re-inking of cartridges, and which was actually a grey market. We developed. I'm sure these will also develop. There will be those making a good this thing out of not so efficient but cheaper batteries, which will be supplied to you so that you in case of an emergency, you manage your show, and so on and so forth. A whole lot of those developments will happen. But a lot of things will continue to remain, because until we develop a replacement for the tire systems, we have all those skilled workers who are on the roadside. I'm sure they will continue to stay there for quite some time. The mechanical engineers will have to find different kind of skills and jobs, because in India we will have to manufacture a large number of batteries, which means material processing engineers will have a big role to play, especially solid state electrolytes and the developments that will take place in that area. I see a lot of newer skills which today, for example, even this group of wise men, many of those skills we are not even able to imagine the skills required tomorrow. These will, these will come out in the open by themselves in the next few months to next few years, while we phase out the the fuel burning technologies which have a great impact on the carbon footprint of the world. I think that's what is scary when you look at skills versus opportunities, because new and new opportunities come, and older skills are going to become redundant. We need to have that heart to drop those older skills and skill ourselves with the newer skills that are required. The curriculum changes will have to be very dynamic, in the sense within the duration of the program, the curriculum probably will have to be changed 2 to 3 times, especially in the next few years. And I don't know whether universities have the mindset and the guts to do that, because it's a very tricky situation. The change you make this year, suddenly next year you find, no, that was not adequate, or that was the wrong change you made, and you will have to go back and make corrections next year. The students will go through a lot of hardships. Suddenly they realize last year whatever we learned is now redundant, but why were we taught that? These are the kinds of disruptions which will happen everywhere, and the biggest ones will be the industry in the considering a lot of skills will be coming forward. We will need to know people. It's easy to say electrical engineers will find better jobs. No, that's not true, because the battery is again a mainstay for material processors and mechanical engineers, because this will have to be produced in mass scale. Mechanical and production engineers, they will be required more in number. Electrical engineers will probably do the design. They will design efficient ways of handling this electricity, and mechanical engineers and electrical engineers will together make sure that the energy conversion becomes efficient, etc. But a lot of non-engineering skills will come in because of the supply chain issues, and that's what I foresee. I foresee a tremendous amount of disruption. That's the bottom line.
Hello, sir.
Did I cross my 3 minutes? I apologize.
Yes, sir. Sir, that's okay, but let us stick to the timeline, because all these things we are going to take up in the panel discussion.
Sure.
Right, sir? Okay. So, 2 minutes is the time for the speakers. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for speaking. Now, next, we are moving forward with Professor Abhay Kumar. He is, my mistake, as Professor Ravi Singh. Professor Singh is the Vice Chancellor at the Sir Mahavir University. He has 25 years of teaching. He has 25 years of teaching and administrative experience at various university departments and autonomous management institutes as director and HOD. Some of the institutes are like Manipal University, Jaipur, West Pilani, Modi University, Lasmagar, BIT Mesra, Jaipur, IILM Jaipur, IST, New Delhi, UPES, Gurgaon, JK Business School, Gurgaon. He has a hands-on experience in developing quality education ecosystem in higher education institutes. Professor Singh is the recipient of 7 awards from different organizations. Overall, he is an expert on accreditation process of an MBA, and he is good with developing innovation ecosystem. Professor Singh, over to you. 2 minutes start now.
Thank you so much, and good morning, everyone. My focus would be more on educational perspective on skills versus opportunities. Like you have given us a couple of questions to look into, I too have a couple of questions to industry and my fellow colleagues. Are universities for skills? That's my first question. If yes, then what kind of skills are we talking about? Is universities there to meet the short-term labor demand of the industry? Is it about short-lived specific techniques and tools which industry need? If yes is the answer for all these questions, then the industry is in the wrong room. That's not the role of the university. The industry is supposed to go to the diplomas and ITI institutions. That's where you will get the skills. The role of a university is to give you people with lots of thinking, people with lots of idea, creativity, and that's the role of a university. Yes, university's role is to develop skills, but what skills are we talking about? The role of the university is to develop conceptual skills of the students, the core skills, the critical thinking. If as a university I focus on developing those very specific tools and techniques, right, then I fail to do my job. Therefore, as a university, I need to concentrate on my job, which I am supposed to do. So I have to figure out what my job is all about. Industry, however, over a period of time is trying to set a narrative that the role of a university is limited to bridge that gap which is arising in the short labor market. No, that's not the role of a university. The industry has to figure out how to overcome that shortage of short-term labor demand in the market. See, if I look at Broadwell's definition of education's various levels, there is given broadly 4 levels. That's first level is the factual, conceptual, procedural, and metacognitive. So as a university, I got to look at those higher order thinking and develop those higher order thinking and forget about what exactly the the industry needs. However, I need to, as a university, look for what's new happening in the industry. Say if today, if you look at the kind of demand which is arising in the industry, is all about blurring that boundaries between disciplines. So when you have today electric vehicle in market, you don't exactly know what kind of people you need. This is an amalgamation of electronics, electrical, and computer. So if you look at the mechanical part is drastically reduced. So hence, therefore, I need to rethink my curriculum. And some of my colleagues say that you have to relook at the curriculum multiple times before a student passes out. No, I don't subscribe to that viewpoint. Right? You got to look at what is that which you need to make students to think about. It's not about content, defining content. The focus should be on making the students to learn. If that happens, it's the student who would develop himself or herself over a period of time, depending upon the demands of the industry. That short-term labor demands of the industry would go on frequently changing. It has been changing in the past, and in my mind, it will change much faster in the future. Hence, develop your students to learn, and rest you live to the industry. As a university, my role is to look at the students' holistic development. See, today, if you look at how students are in fact recruited, none of the recruiter looks at the skill levels. They look at more of a technical knowledge. They look at soft skills, and even some of the recruiters say, "Hey, its attitude is most important. You can train them for skills." But when you look at the way actually they recruit, they do it, assess them for technical knowledge, and then come on to the attitude. What if the people with right attitude are lost during the first round of technical round? So even industry, we look at the way they want to recruit people, what exactly they want. They have to redefine. So I advise the industry to don't set a narrative where universities are asked to narrowly focus on such skills and tools which are short-lived. Let's do our job. Help us in doing our job. Yes, we do appreciate, yes, electric vehicles are going to be there. They are going to be a mainstay. So let's figure out how do we prepare people for you. Let's prepare people who would think about electric vehicles. But don't try to say that we need people who can help us to fix batteries, we need people who can help us to fix motors. Please go to the ITIs, they will do the great jobs. Right? Help us in, let our students think broadly, help you to develop a R&D, help you to bring innovations and improvements in your vehicles and things like that. Thank you. That's my viewpoint. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. So you have set the stage of fire actually. So there are a number of intriguing questions which you have raised, and for that, I think the panel discussion is going to be very good. It is going to be exciting. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Moving forward with the next speaker, he is none other than Professor Abhay Kumar, who is the Vice Chancellor at Pratap University. He is having total experience of over 40 years. He has been an entrepreneur for 3 years and worked in the industry for over 16 years as senior manager personnel. However, he has been interested in the field of marketing management, strategy being his forte. He has more than 21 years of experience in teaching and research. He has organized, chaired several national and international conferences, seminars, workshops, symposium and colloquiums. He is a member of numerous bodies related to higher education and is on the board of management, advisory board, as well as member of BOS and RBC of a good number of institutions and the universities. He is also on the advisory board of many corporate organizations and NGO, and we can see him moderate many a times. We can see him speaking on number of platforms. Sir, welcome on this platform, and it's your time. It's your turn now. Please take it over.
Thank you so much for giving such a long introduction of such a big person. In fact, today on the panel we have some very distinguished people, and I must say that given an opportunity to share the dais with people like Dr. Srihari, who is a very good friend of mine, Dr. Raghuveer, and many others here, I must say that I am immensely proud today, because this organization is, the promoters are my students. And I still remember the day in 2016-17 when we have flagged them off for a competition with the electrical vehicles loaded on a truck at 11 in the night. I still remember that point. And what you have done today makes people like us extremely proud. Now, we all know, sir, that the electrical vehicle and automotive, say, electronics landscape is completely transforming, not only in the country but globally also. And there is great potential for disruptive changes in this particular domain. Now, what will happen is this will result in a huge demand for skilled and industry-ready engineers. Now, just as Professor Abhi said, in fact, we cannot think of one particular domain when we talk about electrical engineering or automotive engineering. We have to consider that a person has to have a passion for a multidisciplinary approach towards education, and this is what exactly is going to happen. Automotive electronics is a multidisciplinary field. It involves electronics, mechanical, and no doubt mechanical is also very important. We cannot demean mechanical, electrical networking, computer technologies. Primarily it is the application of electronics and programming in vehicle engineering. Now what will happen is that the automotive industry over the years has transformed from being core mechanical engineering specific to electronic systems. Now, in order to enable a highly sophisticated and say smart vehicles, the industry uses hundreds of ICs and complex software programs. Hence, electronics, electrical, computer science, information science, engineering all have an opportunity to benefit from this. And this is the core system. I tell you of a petrol pump nearby to my university, Pratap University, Jaipur, where when I go and get my petrol filled, I see a machine lying there, which is lying idle. It is for charging of batteries of cars, and they say that it has been installed 4 to 5 years back, and they say not more than a car or two may visit them in a day, in 24 hours. So we still have a long way to go. Now, when we talk about a variety of competencies which are required, or the skills which are required by the different automotive industry companies, such as the OEMs, for example, supporting automotive industries, which are depending on their product portfolio, I think some of the skills which we need to earmark to be an industry-ready automotive engineer can be a cross-domain, as I said, engineering skill, some knowledge of mechanical, electrical, electronics, Then subject matter knowledge in a broad spectrum of technologies. It may be MATLAB, it may be vehicle mechanics, vehicle architecture, electric motor design. There are so many. If we start counting them, even to the point that we should not understand about a control system development, model-based design, everything. That means a curriculum so devised, just as the National Education Policy 2020 says, it must not be interdisciplinary, it must be multidisciplinary, and a student must be told about those skill sets which he or she should possess. The only word of caution which I may add is, these days, of course, the industry is still, taking people on board, keeping their degrees in mind. The skill-based appointment or recruitment has to start now. The industry also has to think about it. If the education sector has certain new courses, again they would say that if you have a particular course in electrical engineering, for example, we would take you in this particular branch. Though we have seen in the past that most of the computer-based jobs in the United States have been taken by people who have done their chemical engineering and mechanical engineering. Now, what does this go to show? It is the individual's skill set which matters, not only a paper degree as we always talk about, but that is also important. Now, the opportunities when we talk about is huge, because more than 500 companies in India are right now directly or indirectly engaged in design, development, manufacturing and testing activities of electrical vehicles. Now, 90% of all innovations in vehicles come from the electronics and software programming using C, Python, AutoSAR, etc. Now, upcoming global and country regulations, if we talk about, will lead to an increased use of software and electronics content in vehicles. Now, an increased demand again for clean and green technologies has, of course, pushed the electrical vehicles to the forefront. Now, this in turn has increased the requirement for skilled AE engineers, and ISIE can do a lot in this aspect. So, having an excellent job opportunity on one hand is there, having certain skills is what is required. Job opportunities are existing and will keep on increasing in the years to come. That much we can be sure of. Because alternative sources of energy have to be tapped. We have seen during the recent, warfront the world over, I would not name countries here, that petrol or gasoline as a fuel has come under questions. So we must have alternative sources of energy ready for us, whether it is electrical energy or is it wind energy or whatever, hydrogen powered cars, whatever it may come. So keeping all these things in mind, I think electrical vehicles are coming to be a boom in the market. Even Tata Motors, as ISI has just given us in one of their texts, has got the highest order of more than 10,000 vehicles in the next few years. Now, why? It is the mandate of the day. We just cannot say that we need skilled people in electrical engineering because, in fact, we don't have any alternative to it. Even I personally would now go ahead and think of buying a vehicle, the next vehicle which I would be changing, not of a CNG but for electrical vehicle. Because these fuels, the fossil fuels can finish. Electricity is one thing which you can keep on producing through various methods, whether it is wind energy, whether it is any other alternative method. So there is nothing which can say that the skills and opportunities have to be matched. That is more important. The opportunities exist, skills are being created, but there must be a proper match. Now, what most pertinently comes to my mind is that technology keeps on changing. Every 6 months we say. Okay, this is the adage for today. Now, what will happen is, if we teach a student a particular skill set consisting of multi-domain knowledge, will that student be ready to keep on pushing with the same profession in another year's time or 2 years' time? So that means learning, unlearning and relearning has to be a continuous process in this context, especially this being a multi-domain knowledge platform. So electrical engineering cannot be simply prescribed as having a knowledge of electrical or electronics. Management skills also need to be there. So everything combined together, we feel it is a future ready concept that electrical vehicle engineering, or what we call as automotive electronics, is the buzz of the day, and we have to be ready for it and match the skills and opportunities not only as students but in our alumni as well. So thank you so much. I would finish on this note.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Let us keep the time in the mind because we have a number of speakers. Moving forward with Dr. Vijay Kumar Singh, he is the Dean and Head of Mechanical Engineering at Lovely Professional University. For 38 years of experience in industry, in engineering and management, published 28 papers in journals, presented at national conferences, designed and conducted several management development programs in Ansar University, Gurgaon and Tata Management Development Centers in Shetpur. He has worked in operations, Lean Six Sigma, Black Belt, Total Quality Management, Value Engineering, Industrial Engineering, Strategic Sourcing, Logistics, Project Management, Business Excellence, etc. The area of work is wide and has resulted into optimum combination of having both an in-depth and holistic view of industry and the higher education. Dr. Vijay, over to you. Please keep 2 minutes time. Thank you.
Good morning to you all. Thank you for the opportunity to be among the distinguished guests today. Being an industry person for 30 years and in the education for last around 19 years fully, I have seen the the requirement of both the sides. And EV, that electric vehicle, being the I will say that the latest thing which is latest buzz which is going on today is that electric vehicle. Every day, whenever you see the newspaper or anything, that some companies coming up with new vehicle which will be electric vehicle. So myself being an electrical engineer basically, then after that I did my mechanicals and worked in industrial engineering department in industry. The term skill versus that requirements that the industry needs. Basically, the education has to give the basic thing, that is knowledge. Our duty as an educationist is to impart knowledge to students that will make them that take skills or improve their skills. Unless until knowledge is not there, skill will not improve. And opportunity is being, I will say that, follow the skills. If you have certain skills in any particular field, opportunities is always there. That I have seen. And being worked in 3 Tata companies, I worked in Tata Motors and then Tata Steel for 15 years and also in Tata Autocom Systems for 1 year. I was also CEO of Hindustan Motors last when I left. I know the vehicle industry. I will not say that is and out. Everybody has their own limitation in any field, but I have seen it very closely, and I can tell you that the type of skill which we need to give certainly is lacking in our education, and there are a lot of fortunately there are a lot of corporates, they are coming up with tie-ups. For example, my university, they have tied up with Siemens for electric vehicle design. So that will help in a great way because they have the relevant input from the industry, and that will be converted into students' curriculum so that their skills develop for the electric vehicles. That's a narrow, I will say that, sleep, but that is required now because being the electric vehicle new introduction, there is a lot of, the lack of skill in that field. So I will not take much time because as guided by him that you have to take 2 minutes. I'm stopping here and looking forward to others to speak out. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, now is the time to go for somebody who is from the industry side, and he is none other than Mr. Rahul Dwagale. He is the group HR lead at Force Motors Limited. Mr. Rahul has his focus on to partner with country business leaders along with the board of directors to actively work on people development across India. Mr. Rahul is competent professional and with exposure to all facets of human resources and organizational effectiveness and transformation. The certified Six Sigma Green Belt holder with exposure of cross-country transport projects. His 24 plus years of stint with diverse industry experience comprises with food and beverage, consumer electronics, FMCG and automotive industry. He has significantly contributed in setting greenfield projects and change management initiatives and multiple productive long-term waste settlements. Sir, welcome to this platform, and it's 2 minutes time for you. Please take it over.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are absolutely.
Thank you. So I heard a lot of things, and it is very interesting discussion. To me, I will take summarize in a very simple way. Industry always shows some kind of result to disruption, and the topic of today is also very interesting. How you convert or convert this opportunity and reskill yourself. That is, I think, the right message we need to give to the youth of India. Where I will say the world is very volatile. It is a VUCA world where we don't know what will happen in years to come. But it is always an attempt of every industry to certainly collaborate with the different kind of JVs or by their own ways to transform the EV. Now we are also into EV. We are into electric vehicle, but into light commercial vehicle, which is tempo traveler, which is upcoming launches we have in a few months to come. Having said this, what is important, I will not repeat whatever conversation we recently had, but I will always, we always encourage as a recruiter that technology is not important. What is the skills is important in the employee or other student is basically passion. If he is very passionate and he can grab the knowledge of multidisciplinary, he is the person who will be required tomorrow, and he will be the chap. Now, having said this, I also add, if the passion, education and the employment, these are added to each other, this will be absolutely phenomenal for the individual to grow. And we generally encourage people to also go for the patent registration, not only stop there only for doing the job, but also start their entrepreneurship. Teach people to go more, because in India GDP 30% of the employment is given by auto industry, and I encourage students who are participating and giving more of them in terms of their more than their employment as a research. So I hope I will continue in panel discussion. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for this crisp and clear speech. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now last but not the least, I would like to welcome here Mr. Sahil Bagia. He is a special project manager at a vehicle certification agency. Mr. Sahil is an automotive engineer with 9 years of experience in techno-managerial roles related to automotive policy development, advocacy and homologation. His vast experience in government and private sectors with a specific contribution in setting up India's policy for real drive education. Currently, he is deployed by BCA in product management team of BMW India, working as special project manager at BMW headquarters and responsible for Indian certification for BMW Mini and Motorrad. He believes in industry academia collaboration, has been a technical judge and coordinator for the electric mobility events. Mr. Sahil, your speech now, over to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Ashwini Sharma, and I am really very honored to be introduced by my favorite professor during my engineering back in 2013. So it feels really good when you're introduced by your own teacher. And thank you, ISIEINDIA, for giving me this opportunity to speak among such distinguished professors and speakers. I'm sorry, I have a sore throat. I'm not well today, so apologies for that. So I'll start with that. Right now, we are in a big transition from IC engines to not only EVs but also other alternative sources of energy. EVs are already here, and OEMs have started planning a good share of their products into the portfolio, EV products. So if I talk about BMW Group India, 3 different pure electric models have already been launched in last 6 months. So being a luxury segment, 3 model launches in 6 months is a lot, which means they have now a good share of EV into their portfolio. And similarly, other OEMs are also following the same. Now, talking about skills in the market, so I'll share with my example only. So I did my mechanical engineering back in 2013 under the able guidance of Dr. Ashwin Sharma. So for the first 6 years in my career, I worked only on the IC engines in areas of policy and regulations concerning only pure IC engine vehicles. So I worked on drafting BS6 and RD policies with the ministry. And a major part of my education and career focused on IC engines only. Now, from last 1.5 years, I am deputed at BMW India, and suddenly I started working on EVs, and that was a shock to me in terms of my past skills and also the training that is required to handle those EVs. So personally, I do face a lot of challenges till now because these are not the low voltage systems, these are very high voltage systems that we are talking about. And to handle such vehicles for testing and certifications, a very elaborative training is required. So till now, I also got an opportunity to visit some colleges and see their curriculum. And till now, I feel that there is a huge skill gap between the industry and academia when it comes to the task of taking the entire automobile industry towards the electric mobility. So upskilling, reskilling and constant skilling will help India in EV adoption faster, which is our target. There will be new opportunities that will open up in chemical engineering, electronics, IoT and e-waste recycling when the battery management system comes into picture. So what I think is that the government, academia and industry all 3 must collaborate and take initiative to introduce a course curriculum regarding topics like battery design, charging station development, PMS, drivetrain and propulsion system, vehicle to grid integration, electric motor, energy storage and management. And these robust skills development will not only help boost the local manufacturing in India, thus helping us in Make in India campaign strong, but also solving our unemployment problem in India. So with that note, I'll end my words. Thank you.
Thank you, Sahil. It was so nice to see you on this platform. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us move forward with the interaction. There is first question which goes to Mr. Bagale. Yeah, Mr. Rahul, are you there?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. The question is, what changes in industries you observe? How do you see the industry evolving over the next 5 years? And what would be the opportunities for upcoming engineers? These are maybe 2 or 3 questions, but you can just shortly elaborate. Yeah, Rahul sir, are you there? Hello. Hello. Okay, moving forward, we will come back to this question again. Moving forward, this question is to Mr. Sahil. Mr. Sahil, the question is what personality traits and skills the companies look for in a student? So that's the question.
Okay, so in generic terms, I'll talk about not just EVs, but in generic terms, what skills they look for. So right now, what industries are looking for is an overall personality development thing, because what OEMs are following now is a rotation policy. They don't keep you in one department for years to come. They want to rotate you in different departments. You will be working in sales, you will be working in after sales, you will be working in product management, you will be working in the marketing and brand communication. So that's what the idea is. Not only the technical but also the your presentation skills, your communication skills should be really good. And that's how I think the industry will progress, because now we are not into the models are disrupting. Earlier we used to have till now we are having the dealerships in between, but these models are getting changed with the EV ecosystem. We'll have more B2C sales rather than OEM to dealership. So all these new talents of digital marketing and how to sell EVs, knowing that there is a range anxiety, there are different issues in that. So with those things, a new skill set of engineers will be required that currently industry is looking after.
Right. So, yeah, thank you. Okay, question. Now, this question can be taken up by anybody. What would be the curriculum changes the education system need to do to make the skilled engineers for EV industry? So, the question is specific to EV industry. So, any of the professors can take it up.
Well, sir, I would say that multi-skilling is the call of the day. We cannot restrict ourselves just to one particular stream of engineering also. So we would have to, if we talk about EV, we have to understand that we have to give students inputs of all the basic streams of engineering to some extent, with electrical and electronics to be more in the inputs in the curriculum. So the curriculum has to be revised and the system has to become multidisciplinary now. There is no question about that.
Yeah, so you are talking from the perspective of NAT and NBA. These are to be considered, and accordingly the accreditation and certification needs to be done. Yeah, please.
Dr. Sharma, we have already introduced a curriculum that is as a specialization for mechanical branch, which have all those courses. We have a collaboration with already with the organization ISIEINDIA, and with their help we identified numerous courses and we placed it in that. And in last meeting of our academic council, that program has been approved, and from this August we would roll out this particular program. However, we as a university, and other my colleagues would also believe, the education is all about holistic. That means you got to look at a person as a whole, rather than what currently or in the past has been going on. So you need to have your head, heart, and hand, I see, and head also on a higher order thinking. It's not about sharing facts and sharing information in the classroom. In my mind, it's more about conceptual, skills. One is able to contextualize what he or she is learning, whether it's a skill or a knowledge. So if I'm a student, I should be able to conceptualize how these changes in automobile sector is going to impact me as an individual, as a student, or subsequently as an employee, and what that I should learn. Same goes with me as an in educationist. What kind of changes should I bring in my curriculum so that these kids are ready for any change that happened, be it EV or anything else, right? So make them to contextualize that, and then the next level is procedural level. That means how things happen. Now, if we can bring these two changes in the education system, I believe we would have done quite a good job. And that's where we, in fact, as a university, have been utilizing quite a lot on it. In that context of holistic education, soft skills, as one of our colleague Mr. Banga has already said, that soft skills also play a very important role. So we created one independent department of about 20 people. So across the university, that's almost about 12,000 students are being trained on soft skills, and also hard skills that we call technical skills. We call it psychomotor skills. We also created for every student there is an essentially at least two profiles in a given domain he has to choose from. So from with the help of industry, such association, we identified what are various profiles available in industry, and then we went around and asking them what skills are needed for each profile, and then we developed each skills details, how this skill could be learned, and put that in what you call in flow chart, stepwise, and then what kind of knowledge is needed, and then we put into the curriculum. That means in our day-to-day timetable, and give responsibility to the faculty to take each of the skills. And this we have been doing for last 1 year, and the changes are happening. So it's not that universities are not interested in the skill development. We are doing, but we are looking for holistic development. We are looking for more about thinking rather than that mechanical stuff which probably industry demands. Industry demands for specific those tools and techniques which come fast and go fast also. So if we focus on that, then we as a university would be at solid state in subsequent years. Thank you.
That's right, sir, but you have already given the answer to the question that you have already gone for the specialization program in EV. So that's great. You are fast, very fast.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, thank you, sir. So next question is again to Mr. Rahul. Mr. Rahul, are you there?
Yes, yes. Last time I was not able to unmute myself. I don't know why.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Mr. Rahul, the question was that what changes in industry you observe? How do you see the industry evolving over the next 5 years? And what would be the opportunities in those years for the upcoming years? That's the question.
Okay. So very big questions. It's a combination of three questions, but I will try to answer.
Yes.
Industry is going into very, very different stage. Many of the companies I see in OEMs are doing some kind of like testings. Particularly if you see evolution of Tata and all, they are having very good ramp up plan. I have seen Tata Motors, particularly my observation I'm telling you, as a 65 exton per day, and now they are going more than 4 to 5,000 per month. So that is a big achievement in terms of ramping up the production. Having said this, they have a long range of plan for next 6 to 7 years, and as like with the other passenger vehicle also. When it comes to commercial vehicles, I don't see it is a immediate evolution of the EV, because as there are lot many regulations needs to be controlled and tested positively by under homologation and everything. So I think it will take some time. So passenger car are evolving according to me, and they are having good hype. You can see on the roads lot many hatchbacks, and in fact coming entry level sedans are also coming at market. But for SUV and commercial vehicle, it will take some time. I hope I have given answer. In case anything left out, please re-ask your question. Thank you.
No, that's fine.
Now I have one question. If you could answer one question.
Please.
Recently, I read a report in the newspaper that one of the industrialists said that whatever the fires you see around in EVs, especially scooters, and that's what been because of the government negligence. So I want to understand what was the government's negligence in this?
See, I'll tell you. I don't want to finger point any particularly kind of nuisance happened.
So let's have on the issue. Let's discuss on the issue, not
absolutely, absolutely. See, I'll tell you, issues are also happening in IC engine. It's not about only EV. And whenever there are testings, we do not know what went wrong, and that's basically opportunity to learn and recheck. Have you ever noticed that so many of the OEMs are recalling the vehicles for
yes, that's
installing and everything? So why not these questions coming like, why IC engines are having also some kind of troubles? So it is the evolution, sir. According to me, it will take some time to map his own journey.
That's cool.
Yeah, Mr. Sahil, you want to say something?
Yeah, on this point, I have some good experience that I would like to share. So on the part of the safety thing, So I would like to highlight that there are many new regulations that India is coming up with, and currently I'm working on those regulations. And believe me that they are ahead of Europe. So we are on to the next stage now, and especially this battery safety testing, we are definitely ahead of Europe, and that is why when we test these vehicles, the maybe the Germans or Japanese, they have not done this testing, but we are doing those tests in India now.
Great, good.
That's good.
That's right. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, another question coming up to all of you, especially to the teachers. So this will be like, maybe this will be liked by the students. This question is, do you think the students are overburdened in terms of content? So, question can be taken up by you. Do you think the
Yes.
students are overburdened in terms of content?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
you are
Doctor,
right.
in fact, national education policy very clearly enunciates that we have to compress the contents and give them more of a conceptual knowledge. And almost every university, I hope, including my university, Punjab University, we are in the process of devising content so that the student gets more of application knowledge rather than just rote knowledge. That is there, of course. So I agree to it.
I'd like to add to this. See, like, Dr. Ashwini, there is a love for content in our country, unfortunately. Whether it's a student or a faculty. So actually, we got to figure out, and in that, students have a great role. How much independent learning they do back home? We call it a pre-reads. Now, if they don't pre-read, I think, for example, I remember my old days in one of the university. I don't want to name that. I in fact introduced split classroom, and after 2 weeks I had to resort back because students were never interested to learn themselves. They all wanted to hear from me or from any other teacher. So the biggest obstacle to this is that the learner is not prepared himself. So unless that happens, your teacher fails to stop giving the content. He is kind of a force. So it's still a struggle, see. But it's not that this will not change. A couple of years down the line, this will become a norm. That means you go to have a pre-read, come to the class, indulge into discussion, do participatory learning, and indulge into activity-based learning. Things will change. All these things we have been hearing for last couple of years only. So changes would happen. Like one of our industry friends said, sir, it is evolving. So it's the education industry is also evolving. Changes would take place. I'm very positive about that.
You are saying that the learning is also evolving. Students need to be trained to learn.
Either the teacher nor the students are prepared in changing their style. We have been calling it pedagogy and we are doing pedagogy. These are all 18-year-old plus boys. They must shift to andragogy. They must, start learning themselves. And somewhere along the line, we have failed in building that up in the middle school, high school, and the junior college levels, whatever you want to call them. That's the biggest stumbling block for outcome-based education, which is what even NEP is trying to drive at, and which is what NBA is also trying to push. Unfortunately, even OBE has been, converted into old wine in new bottle kind of a thing, where outcomes are now getting designed in a fashion which make our teaching methodology convenient, so that we continue to do what we used to do. Unfortunately, between students and teachers, I think teachers must take the responsibility that we can't continue to do the same way we did for several decades. We really need to change our tactics. In fact, we can go back to how in the ancient ages we used to handle education, wherein a student was given education based on his aptitude and ability, and then he would pursue a field and a knowledge combination of all that. It was almost a bespoke program which was made available to every student. I think it's time has come today that we bring in bespoke or liberal engineering, if you want to call it, wherein the student is able to design his own bouquet of knowledge and knowledge-based skills which he would like to pick up with advice from various quarters, because today the days where universities led technological advances have unfortunately gone, because the industry has taken charge of these in most cases, and the industries which do invest in R&D are coming up with the newer technologies. For example, the internet, which has been the most responsible for all disruptions in this century, was actually discovered in a university. It was a university lab project, and see what havoc it has created. Unfortunately, it has taken away a lot of things from the university, because universities still are designing those 4-year programs, and our time scales have not changed. I'm sure even that would happen. That's another disruption which may not happen in our lifetime, but given sufficient time, even that disruption would catch up with us.
It's about that. It may happen coming times. Maybe this question is because of the people who are actually studying in the colleges, because being from the university, people have already been proactive in designing the syllabus and taking the what we can say, the voice of customer into consideration. You might have designed your own syllabus and curriculum in such a way that the content may not be overburdened. But what about those 10,000 colleges where the system or the syllabus has been designed by the state technical boards? And that is not changed.
All the kind of systems we have. Lot of challenges, let me tell you, lot of challenges.
Have teachers
Whether it is
using knowledge which was day before yesterday, trying to train students for tomorrow. I mean, this is an equation which I find it difficult to convert. So it's very important that unless all the variables in this equation are ready for tomorrow, you just can't do it.
In that way, the universities, in that way, the universities are at the competitive advantage always, because they can take their own decisions, and within no time they can implement it. Right. So this was a very good question. Another question which is coming up and which may be not so good, but it is actually at the heart of the faculty members. The question goes to Mr. Rahul and Sahil first, and then we will open it to the professors. How can we effectively develop and skill the faculty members, because these are the people who are at the forefront to actually percolate the knowledge down the line. And in this process, I don't know why the industry, or I being from the academic education system, I have found that many times the industry is not proactively giving it back to the roots, that is for the faculty members. And you see, these are the people who are preparing the workforce for the industry. So what is your take on it? Can you do something? Can the industry do something to actually help the faculty members and to develop their skills and all these things? Over to you.
Okay, I will go first. This is very favorite question to close of my heart, and I, as an individual, really like this question. More than the question, it is our duty to give back to the society. And we did this kind of experiment in Pune, where it was association with Srinagar Institute of Technology, and as well as in the management, where we ran a program called Faculty Development Program. According to me, faculties are basically driven most because of the syllabus. They do need to complete that. However, more frequency to visit the industry to understand the technology will also help them out to understand what is the expectation. That is one thing. Second is, are they really conversant? Are they really liking the technology? Unless and until they are liking this will not give any kind of fruitful results to the students. It is not mandatory for the college to only ask faculty to go and visit industry, but it is also important that what they are contributing to the students. And my last say on this is basically a will has to be there in the mind of the faculty to take practical experience from the industry and give it to the society or to the students. Over to you, Sai. Thank you.
Yeah, so sir, I'll partly agree with you that there is a gap between the faculty development programs that should have been done by the industry. The reason for that can be the high work pressure of the employees and the industry overall, but it is not such that it is like zero, because there are many industries that are conducting these FTPs regularly. And also, to my knowledge, government organizations like ARI and ICAT, they have specifically programs that are designed for colleges. And I was involved in one of these programs in which they were helping one of the college in developing their electrical labs by providing them equipments and trainings on that. So it is not like that. It is not happening, though it is little low right now, these training programs. But I think it will be gaining pace as we see that the workforce has to be trained in these areas, and so do the faculty.
So may I suggest something to you, please?
Yes, sure, sir.
Yeah, so my request on this side is that yes, see, we have got the technology at our hand now. Previously it was not, and the communication was a bit of a problem. But in my opinion, why don't you start some kind of specific program? Let's say post-mortal is starting the program on skill development for the faculty members, and anybody from across the country can be part of that program, maybe 2 days and 3 days. And in that, I would be more than happy if the universities can collaborate and design the program in such a way that it may be 2 or 3 days program. Let's say Saturday, Sunday on. And in that, if you are giving them that, boss, this is what is needed by the industry, and this is the way you can train your students so that we are comfortable when we are inducting the students or recruiting the students. I think that will be a great help for the society as well as the academics. That's my request.
Dr. Sharma, I'm happy. I will take a first lead from Monday itself. Give me a call. We can certainly design this. And it's for the betterment of the society. I'm not saying that industry is far more knowledgeable than the professors, but whatever is a win-win situation, which can be perfectly executed. I'm open.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's like we as a university are not that deep about it, and we came out with a program called Industry Immersion Program. Rather than training a faculty on certain content, I would recommend that give us our faculty about a month, at least 4 or 5 weeks exposure while working with you in the industry. So we have been for last 2 years implementing this program, though it is at a low level as yet. That every faculty is supposed to spend about 4 to 5 weeks in the specific industry where your domain is important. So, say for example, I'm from HR, so I go and spend at least 5 weeks with HR, get a lot of things, what they do, how they do, and then of course using my own understanding, I would then go back in the classroom, enrich them, talk more about systems and processes rather than that conceptual thing. So spending time in the industry, in my mind, will be far more better for him because the kind of exposure he gets will be quite enriching.
Yeah, so I just suggested on the first time that it may be the initiation of it. The proactive universities, yes, this immersion program, many of the universities are doing. And as you told that it is at low level because the faculty is also burdened. They are not finding time to actually go for 4 5 weeks. So it is the summer time when they find out.
That is, summertime is what it is in actually summer.
That's right. So, Shriyani sir, over to you. What is your take on that?
What Professor has indicated is a wonderful thing for each faculty, because the faculty needs to grow and keep himself up to date with time. And industry immersion is the best way he can achieve, because he is also in terms of conceptual and knowledge, he's also much ahead of his students, if we agree on that premise. At the same time, what is important today is the kind of the volume of skill and technology that is being generated. Human mind is going to find it very difficult to bring it all in one piece and deliver it. So it has to happen in multiple ways. One, slightly modified way of what Professor Raghuveer indicated is have these internships co-guided by both industry and university mentors, and they should closely interact. But again, if the university mentor becomes a sleeping partner in the process, we would have spoiled the whole picture. At the same time, the need of the day, need of the society is that our students get quickly trained, and the new education policy has given us multiple ways of accumulating credits. If Google can come out with a structure and say that we don't need degrees, you do these courses and you can join Google, I'm sure every industry can create such let me call them electives, so that it's palatable to the universities, and help students create. Give students an alternative way of effectively adding, accumulating credits for themselves. I think that has to happen, because we want a faster transfer to the my citizen or the leader of tomorrow, and he needs to be prepared. I would want industry to bring in at least to begin with, offer electives, give its own experts, make them available to universities in whichever form. Today, I think it's easy to make them available. The technology permits it. The regulators also permit it. Maybe we should take full advantage of that and have those one or two skills from each industry which are transferable, brought to the university doorsteps. I'm sure the faculty will also gain knowledge in due course of time, and they upgrade themselves. As long as students are working, faculty are also working, and when the students go on vacation, this is the minimal time we can give faculty to recoup and rejuvenate their brain cells. I agree with you that we want our faculty to do everything, including conduct elections and evaluate answer books, prepare this thing, participate in the admission process, you name it, and everything which we can't find anybody else to do, we didn't seem to transfer it. Whereas learning knowledge and transferring it to students is the main focus of the faculty, and I'm sure Professor Raghuveer Singh also wants that to happen, and we would all want that to happen. Unfortunately, the rate at which it can happen, there is a limitation to it. While it should happen, but I would say we need to accelerate the process, which can happen by bringing in courses from the let an industry offer several electives which you can easily accommodate in your program, and these electives need not necessarily be those 3 lectures which happen every week or 4 lectures which happen every week. They can be structured in the form of a project or any which way in which we are able to quantify and create a documentation of how much knowledge has been attained, what outcomes have been attained. I'm sure we will be able to ensure that students benefit from that.
Yes, sir. Why I asked this question, there is a motive behind this, not related to the university system, but we were conducting one faculty development program in one of the northeastern states, and there we called the faculty from the schools. Can you believe that when we asked that, okay, you might have some questions or maybe you want to connect later on, please give us your email IDs. 25% of faculty members did not have the email IDs. Now this is the situation. Until unless we are able
you should have asked them for their Facebook account, they would have given WhatsApp numbers, they would have given.
Yeah, that's right. But sir, they sincerely told that we don't have the email ID. They have the phone number. So I think the faculty comes at forefront where industry and we people can contribute. Dr. Vijay, are you there? Dr. Vijay? Okay, I think, yeah. So, Mr. Rahul, thank you so very much for your positive note, and Mr. Rahul, for your positive approach towards this. Please give it back to your teachers maybe in the university, and I'm sure that my eminent professors who are here, they can help you to every extent possible to maybe coming down to their universities or collaborating in terms of maybe at number of fronts. So thank you so very much for this wonderful session, which is this exciting and stimulating too. Now I would like to invite the ISI member to give vote of thanks. Thank you so very much. Namaskar from Dr.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Yes, Shubham, please take it over.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all the delegates, speakers, and everyone present here. I want to express my sincere appreciation to all the experts for their inspiring words and depth of understanding and ability to present the subject in such an interesting way. I'm sure everyone is enriched by the session. I would like to thank all the participants for joining to the vision quest. We hope that now you are aware of required skill set and opportunity available in the market. I would like to thank Dr. Sri Hari Prakash sir, Professor Raveen sir, Professor Abhay Kumar sir, Dr. Vijay Kumar Singh sir, Mr. Rahul sir, and Mr. Sahil sir. And very special thanks to Dr. Ashwini Kumar Sharma sir for the moderating for the entire evening. To bridge the gap between industry and academia and to create a sustainable ecosystem, we are looking forward to find the possible synergies for the collaboration from all of the delegates. Thank you once again and hope to associate you all again with our further programs and events. Thank you all. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.